Ready? Right, hello everybody, Newcastle Fans TV here. We are back with the latest podcast, also available on iTunes, SoundCloud and soon to be YouTube. I'm joined by a few guests of mine today. We're going to do a quick few intros and then we're going to get on the burning questions over the last 4 to 5 weeks of what has been going on in the world of Newcastle. Right, we begin. I'm joined by Will. Will, introduce yourself, what you do and so on.
Hello, I'm Will. I'm Lee's co-presenter on Newcastle Fans TV and aspiring journalist. And what else am I doing? And well-known TV star in some places. And yeah, anyone else?
So I go by the name of 40, aka Ford Have Mercy. Been YouTubing for about 8 months now. Ever since that loss against Bournemouth, that's why I used to remember it. That Steve McLaren loss, I'll blame him. And then here I am 8 months later, and I've been supporting the team for about 20 years now.
Hi, I'm James and I'm on the podcast for the first time. I don't actually have a YouTube account, but I've been watching YouTube for years and I've really liked it, and come across Lee in March after the Bournemouth defeat when he did his review on it, and that's then
Seeing a recurring theme.
and I'm one of the biggest Newcastle fans in the world.
Fantastic. Well, everybody knows, if you don't know who I am, I run Newcastle Fans TV. I done YouTube about 18 months ago, and then I rebranded it, started to make a lot more professional. Just touching back on that Bournemouth one, that's when I was quite upset, wasn't it?
Yeah, you were really
very upset. We've also got in the room as well a very special guest hiding behind the cameras as well, which is James's mum as well. Just waving, but you can't see her. Anyway, so we're going to start. I'm going to start with the big news which happened today, gents. It is the Jonjo Shelvey one. This was already down for the podcast even before today's ruling. So we'll take you back a little bit. When news broke about a month ago that the FA had charged Shelvey that he was going to be potentially going to be banned for 5 games. First of all, what do you make of that? And secondly, lads, he's now been fined 5 games with £100,000 fine. Will?
It's a very heavy fine. It's obviously a massive loss if it does continue, because I know there's still the possibility that we can appeal. I think it's there's no really excuse if it is to be proved guilty. To be honest, I think it's very hard to defend him. For us, it is a massive loss because for us, in terms of starting midfielders, I don't think we've got anyone else like him in our team, and to miss a very heavy fixture list over the next few games is potentially could hurt us quite badly, especially with us and Brighton being quite close to the top of the table. 40?
I just want to echo that. I mean, it's not the players that we haven't got. I mean, we have got players to obviously replace him. It's just we haven't got the quality to replace him. Yeah. We haven't got anyone else in the team that can do what he can do. Sure, we can put Toyota in there. Sure, we can put Hayden and Cole back in there. Sure, we could even put a third striker in there. It's just the fact that so much of the play goes through Shelvey. You think
that's a problem?
Yeah, a massive problem, because I've even seen, I think he's been involved in 9 of the goals, and even not directly, but he always has something to do with the build-up play. So we're going to miss him dearly, but it's something that Newcastle United have to do because obviously they're so heavily involved with kick racism about football. So it would look very stupid of us not to get involved in this and not take this seriously, if we're involved in this. So it's one of those things that if we appeal it, I think we will, but then we'll end up dragging it on even longer. And then, if I'm right, he might end up missing the Brighton game.
Yeah.
So that's an even more crucial game.
In your opinion, what do we do?
I think he's just gonna have to take the slap on the wrist.
Leave it as it is.
Yeah, leave it as it is. We've appealed, he's appealed it. Obviously, came to this. He's got the 5-match ban. He's not too worried about the money because the money's nothing to him. But I think it's more a case of pride, and obviously now he'll look bad and he'll make the club look bad. But you know what? These sort of things blow over. 6 to 9 months down the line, nobody will be thinking about it. Sure, it's fresh in our minds now, but later on down the line we won't remember it, and he'll probably end up scoring a winner or a screamer, and then everybody will be remembering that. But I think the best thing for him to do is get his head down, take the slap on the wrist, maybe do some charity work. He's even got to do the course, isn't he? The education course, so he's got to do that as well.
You not think, just putting in for the fans out there who don't have any voice, of course.
Yeah.
Do you not, for those who want the club to appeal, is there any chance of the ban being reduced?
There isn't, no.
None at all, for your opinion?
Nah. I mean, it's a minimum 5-game ban, isn't it? If the club want to step in and up that, then so be it.
Depends what proof they've got, isn't it?
Yeah.
Audio or visual.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things going around on Twitter saying he said that, but unless you're Jonjo Shelvey himself, you're not going to know what he said. You know, you can't really get around it. I mean, people are saying, he's only said that. It's inexcusable. You can't say anything nowadays. You know, even the Gaza incident not too long ago when, you know, he said what he said. You can't say things like that ever.
Even though you don't mean it intentionally, I know what you mean.
Yeah, even though if you don't mean it intentionally, even if you mean it in a joking way, it's one of those things you can't do. You know, you would have been better off saying, I'm not going to start swearing, but something.
Swear all you want?
Yeah. No, because there's other people in the room. But it would have been better off saying something excluding race. You know, even if he is offending. And the thing is, it did even affect him. You know, the incident occurred around the Vernon Anita sending off. Obviously, he's hurt for his player. His teammate, but it didn't even include him in part of the incident. So,
was it a red card, the Vernon Anita one? Because that caused it to spiral.
Yeah, it caused it.
It was, you know, we were losing 2-0 at home to Wolves. It was just a frustration day all round.
And from what I hear, you know, players were winding up about his alopecia and stuff like that. But again, it doesn't warrant going off on one and starting bringing race into it. So, sorry, I'm hogging all the mics.
It's alright. It's a massive loss for me. I mean, most of our creative play comes from him, and I've got a question for you guys. How is Dwight Gale going to get service now? Because most of Gale's service comes from Shelvey.
Body, what about you? Pass the mic over.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we're lucky that we've got Richie as well. Richie and Shelvey are like our two creative forces. So we've got Richie there, but we'll have to find a different way to play to answer that. We're lucky in a way. Say lucky in a way, but we're lucky that we've got the January transfer window coming up.
Yeah.
So I think with up to 5 players going to the African Cup of Nations, Shelvey ban, we're going to have to go into the transfer market. I think we're going to go into it anyway, but we have to go into it now with recruiting at least 3 players.
Yeah, we've got transfers at the end of the video.
Yeah, so I know.
I know what you mean, but we'll have to step in.
Yeah. What about yourself, Phil?
To answer your question again, we might have to change it. You might have to change it up how we play again. Maybe put more emphasis on the wingers, so Gouffran and Richie. Maybe putting more crosses into the box. So anyone for Mitra coming back?
Me, definitely. I'm one for Mitrovic for myself. Like, so, I think because what you're going to do, you've either got the option of bringing Chioti out the cold, or potentially bringing the Nita from right back into centre midfield, playing Yedlin, or go 2 up top. Or I think away from home, I think we'll be all right with Hayden and Colback. I think that's all right. At home, I think they might need something like drop Diarmi back or something. It's going to rumble on this story. Obviously, we'll find out, I guess, in the next 7 days whether the club appeal or not, and check out, obviously, all the social media, check 40's channel out, check ours out. We'll have all the latest news. Since it's back to me, I may as well rumble on to the next question then. We're going to move on to an unfortunate Rolando Aarons. So I think he's quite a fan's favourite. He's been ruled out for the end of the season. It's bad looking at. My opinion, personal thoughts on it, I thought this was the season that he would kick on and make that left wing his own, and then he will literally go on to bigger things, potentially even England. I'm really disappointed that he's been injured. I mean, Will, you have general thoughts on Rolando Aarons as a player, and secondly, is it a shame?
Well, I remember when he came in, I literally had no idea who he was, and then seeing him, he turned into our best player, and you know, we were all comparing him to Raheem Sterling. You know, his Premier League debut was it? Well, I remember he got the game against Crystal Palace, and you know, came on, scored, created, looked absolutely fantastic, and was a player that we hadn't had in a long time. You know, a proper direct winger, and then you know, had injuries.
As well,
you know, kind of you know, something to see for the youth academy, because it had been put to the side in recent times with all the foreign investment. And you know, I remember him scoring against Man City in the cup as well. and just thinking, we've got such a good player on our hands, and for him to keep getting injuries and to see during that season to see Sammy Amiobi in the team rather than him was really frustrating. But I think he's a fantastic talent. He's still got a big future ahead of him. He's still very young. I think he's only about 20 still. But it's a massive blow, especially for a whole season. I just hope he can recover and be as exciting as he was.
Yeah, I mean, I got to speak to Rafa about that Aaron's injury, and he did say that he's speaking to him quite a lot. In fact, he's over in Italy, having surgery and stuff like that, learning Italian. But I echo what you said about the whole Raheem Sterling link. I did think he would be the next Raheem Sterling for us.
Yeah.
In terms of just breaking into the England team, he's got that raw pace, skill. I saw him in pre-season. I think it was Vitesse Arnhem, and he came on, and he's just got that ability just to beat a player. Sometimes he does too much, but I think he was just looking to impress. And it's just a shame. It's just a real shame. Obviously, he's just come quite immediately after he signed a new contract as well. So
at least we've got that security with the contract.
Yeah, but I think it'll test his character and test his real strength to see if he comes back a bigger and better player. Because not only will have to have rehab on the injury, but if you're going to be out for so long, you're going to be thinking to yourself, have I still got it? Can I still do the same things that I do? It was a freak accident as well, so will he be, avoiding challenges and all the rest of it now? So it's all those things to consider as well. And now, obviously, with Rafa on board, he's not going to wait for anyone really. He's going to start investing in the future right now. So he's already got Gouffran ahead of him. He's already got Richie ahead of him. He's already got Atsu ahead of him, who's looking for a contract. How far down is Aaron's going to fall down the pecking order?
Before you answer, James, have we missed Rolando Aarons? Have other people stepped up?
No, in my opinion. We've got this season, we haven't missed them because we've had Atsu, Gouffran and Richie, with all three of them for me. Atsu and Gouffran have looked good, but Richie has been off the boil at points this season.
Okay.
So,
cool. Do you want to fire the next question at all?
Yeah. Leeds 2, Newcastle 0, Gale.
Got me having that.
Can't be having that one. Leeds 0, Newcastle 2. Do you want to start yourself and the performance, the game? Do you remember much about it?
Yeah, I do. I thought it was a very good performance against Leeds. Not the best performance we've had this season. Leeds didn't really have threatening in that game apart from the last 5 minutes of the first half where they were throwing everything at us and they're having shot after shot after shot. But fair play to our defence because they kept them out, and they had a couple of chances in the second half, but we hardly had any chances. But it just shows you the more quality we have in our team. Yeah.
Cool. 40. Yeah.
I was actually at the game and it was so hyped up. It's one of those billions, when you watch a boxing match and it's so hyped up and then you get there and it's like it's over in the first round.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah, it was just so overhyped, and then you get there to Ellen Road. Yeah, fair enough. Everyone's chanting and the Gary Speed tribute was moving and all the rest of it now. But at the same time, I was like, where are they? I'm sure they had maybe 2 shots or a debatable penalty, or whatever. But after that, Gale finished them, and that shows the quality that we've got. I think when we come up against these big teams or bigger teams in the league, we smash them to pieces. It's the smaller ones that we need to watch out for. But yeah, it's a great performance, great away day as well, and I think Leeds may even go up this season through the playoffs. Yeah.
I think it was echoing what you said about how hyped up it was, even in just at the game itself. I mean, I think they said that Ellen Road had sold out for the first time in about 6 years or something by the time that when we came in, and it wasn't even a competition. I mean, Leeds were in a fantastic run of form, and we just turned up and we controlled the game brilliantly. Gale, mistake from the goalkeeper. What can you do? But we just dominated the game and we just never really looked like losing. It was a massive statement for how good this team is at championship level, and when it is performing well, it shows how good they are and that they will, and against any team in this league we can beat them, and we can beat them very comfortably and quite convincingly.
Yeah, with me, I think it was being built up a bit over the top. I mean, It's the most local team now.
They are technically our derby.
It is our derby.
It is our derby.
Mile and a half
Apart from playing derby, yeah.
half a mile. A mile and a half down.
Especially with McLaren.
Yeah, it was big up on it. They had a sellout. I think Rob been gifted with it.
Yeah.
That was an awful mistake. I think that helped her because it was quite early on that he'd done that, and then Newcastle were kind of at ease. I would agree with you as all that they didn't really. Yeah, they had a couple of shots, but nothing like they can hurt with.
I think it was more of a scouting mission, wasn't it? Because we've been linked to about at least a good 2 or 3 of their players. The left back, is it Taylor? Is it?
Yeah.
Taylor and Vieira.
That is the best name in football, Ronaldo Vieira.
What's his brother's name? Romario? Romario.
Yeah, I can tell where they got it from. But going back to that, I think it was just a assured away performance. I don't think we've been 10 out of 10 away from home, but I think it's been like 7s throughout the season.
Yeah.
We haven't hit the height, but it's understandable away from home. Yeah. But it's a cracking 3 points, and the banter on Twitter was fabulous afterwards as well. Yeah. So all in all, I would agree with you. Will, I'm going to let you fire the next questions towards Will.
So this is maybe one of a sensitive topic, which was after how many games did we go winning? Was it 8?
Let's call it the start from the week from hell.
Start of the week from hell. So Newcastle 0, 22nd in the league. Blackburn 1. Someone start.
The performance was absolutely abysmal. Right?
That's when it like.
And we're done. So
it was.
Elaborate.
It was probably one of our worst performances of the season. We just turned up. Blackburn looked more up for it, and we just didn't seem like we wanted it. And I remember me moaning throughout the game with my friend. Blackburn didn't have many chances, but when they did, that took them well. I think we should have scored though in that game. Kieran Clark, 2 yards out. It's criminal that you're not scoring from 2 yards out. It was shock defeat. I don't know how because we're going for our was it 10th win in a row? Yeah. And the players turn up like that thinking, Blackburn are going to let us win, when you've got to realise even Rotherham at home, that'll still be a tricky game. Any game in this league's tricky.
I think a lot was made up about the whole 10 games in a row, and that might have got to the players' heads, and obviously the fact we're playing Blackburn as well. It was all set up for us to beat the record, but I don't know. I thought honestly, God, I still think about it now. Doing the preview, I was thinking, you know what, it's one of those turn up and play games, easy 3 points. And it's you could kind of see that on the players' face as well. Rafa made so many changes, and people were talking about the whole, has he rotated too much? But he's got a squad. So regardless of who he puts out there, we should be beating them. I mean, our second 11 is better than a lot of people's first team. Yeah. So it still shocks me to now that we lost against Blackburn, and the manner that we did as well. It's just shocking.
I mean, they came and dominated. I remember when we beat Reading 4-1, and I did a fan cam on his channel with this guy. And I remember saying in the team selection that I've never seen a more uninspiring left side than Dummett and Johan Gouffran. And then when I saw on the team sheet that it was Atsu and Jesus Gamez, I nearly cried. And it turned out that we were shocking without them. And it was, I think to put the most positive spin on this, it shows how good they are now.
I was going to say, has your opinion on Dummett changed now?
Yes, I know.
Because mine has definitely.
Yeah, he's a Welsh Roberto Carlos to me now. But it shows how those two have improved on the Rafa. But that's I just remember watching the game and just going, "What is this? What is this?" They just completely didn't turn up at all, and Blackburn were comfortable.
Yeah,
we didn't even challenge, and it's probably the one time that I have been critical of Rafa, to be honest, with that team selection and leaving Gill 2 minutes at the end to score.
Yeah, it was awful, wasn't it? I think
terrible.
The performance and all, I've got to give credit to Blackburn because no one has so far, so I'll put the neutral head on it, but they've done a job, haven't we? I think that even like for what you were saying, the rotation side should still beat that side. I went in there quite hammered, to be honest. First time I've been at a Newcastle game, quite drunk from the previous night.
Really?
Oh, you should have saw me. You should have saw me. Do you know the guy, the religious guy who's outside St. James's Park preaching with his board?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he's got a microphone.
Yeah.
So I grabbed his microphone off him and goes, "Don't believe in him, believe in me." The top of the voice. And that was literally my highlight of the day.
Yeah.
And that just says all about the performance. Newcastle were just awful. Every department going forward, it was pretty poor. But Blackburn did a job on us, a fair play on them.
Yeah.
I don't think there'll be. I said to you on the last thing, there'll be some freak results, and you questioned it.
Yeah, I remember. But Blackburn at home.
I said there'll be some freak results.
As I said, it's those lower teams that we need to watch out for. It's not necessarily your Leeds, Norwich, Aston Villa, those teams.
Yeah.
It's those
Because
teams.
you know how big those games are, and
Exactly.
you turn up for it.
We've lost to Blackburn, Wolves. 2 of those games you would have thought, come on now.
Yeah.
Easy 3 points.
Going to Blackburn away, I'm hoping for revenge. 40, do you want to lead the next one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, we suffer that loss and we're thinking, you know what, we've got the cup to worry about. Don't worry about that, you know. First time in our lifetimes we could actually be through to win something. And then lo and behold, we play against Hull City. Now, I was at this game as well. And
Let's just go with the fact that he's at every game.
Yeah.
Just go with
nearly. But it's just the manner how we lost against Hull City, who are struggling in the Premier League. And it was, you know what, it was a good benchmark because they're there like 18th, 19th now. I don't know where they are, but they're struggling. And we're flying high in the Championship. We dominated them from start to finish. Let's face it. You know, yes, we did slip up and let them score straight after we scored. And you know how the old saying goes. You know, you're more susceptible to concede a goal straight after you score, and that's what we did. We just took our eyes off the prize, and that was it. And then penalties, it can go any way, but the penalties were poor.
Shocking, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Poor. And I'm not talking just like under fives poor. I'm talking about, you know, when you're on FIFA and you had just. Oh, I'm not gonna get. Yeah.
FIFA penalties are shocking this.
FIFA 17 penalties describes Newcastle penalty attempts.
Pretty much.
It was awful.
But yeah, I'll let someone else ramble on it.
Right. I've got
Get it off your chest.
got a very strong view on this because a lot of people after the game were being positive about us getting beat off Hull, which I think is a load of rubbish. If we want to stay up next season, it's teams like Hull that we have to be beating, even though they probably won't be in the Premier League next season. But yeah.
That's all.
I was going to say, I wasn't heard that right.
Well, people are listening on the audio there. Full 40s look there, you never famous.
He bet Hull were not going to be in the Premier League. Oh yeah, that's of course. I heard it differently. It must be more old age.
It's late, give us a break.
So yeah, first half I thought were actually quite good. We created a lot of chances. Don't think Hull really got any chances in the first half. The second half it was more Hull, not really having a threat, but they were certainly the better team than us. And then in the 89th minute, a dramatic incident where it was just some commotion between Mobakani and Jamal Lascelles, and I can't quite remember what happened, but Lascelles had his arms out like that just to annoy to make sure he try and claim to the ref that he wasn't responsible for anything. So Mobakani is sent off. They go down to 10 men, and I'm thinking, yes, we got these. Then we went into extra time, and I was really optimistic. We created a lot of chances. I remember Lazar hit the ball, and then finally we got our goal. And I was actually watching it on beIN Sports at the time, but they were watching the replays. Lazar hit the ball, and then they missed the goal from the corner. I was like, I saw Diarme put it in the net straight away. I was like, we've scored. And I was like, yes. But I didn't want to celebrate much because most people, my sister was in bed, so yeah. So got the goal. I thought we're gonna win this. 30 seconds later, though, Matt Sells had other ideas.
I've heard that before.
Hull kick off. we are like thinking, oh, they've got 10 men, they won't score, but Lascelles, Hayden, Clark, they're all asleep, and Snodgrass gets a shot away. How does Matt Sells not catch it? And anyway, who's marking Snodgrass on the second attempt? And then he just taps it in. I'm like, oh, 1-1. And I'm like, come on, we should be. They're the worst team in the Premiership after Sunderland, and so as we went into extra time even more, I was like, well, we'll get another goal because they're down to 10 men. We didn't manage to do it, which I was very angry about. That I just had this funny feeling. Do you know what? In my whole life, I haven't seen Newcastle in a penalty shootout in the 14 years that I've been born. So this is the first penalty shootout I was watching.
Sorry to do that.
And I just have a funny feeling.
Really?
Just had a funny feeling. Do you not hear? We're gonna bottle it and we're gonna lose on pens. And I was like, so first penalty taker, Shelvey steps up like, oh, he's gonna miss this. He misses it, and then 3 whole penalties, all 3 of them Matt Selder should have saved. Their goalkeeper was having an absolute blinder. He was just saving every single penalty and stuff. And Gouffran with the last penalty, absolutely shocking. He's been good, to be fair to him, this season, but you've got to at least hit the target. So yeah, we'll go out on pens to Hull, and I'm fuming because even though they are the Premier League side, I personally think our squad is stronger than their squad. Because I remember at the start of the season they were having to put youngsters onto their under 20s, under 21s onto their bench. That the squad was that small. So yeah, it shouldn't have really went out, but it was pretty much a bad loss.
Well, I was just going to jump in there and say, what's everyone's thoughts on? Is it Sells' fault? Is it because everyone's quick to blame Sells, but if you watch the goal back again, Hayden wasn't marking. I remember that. So that was his fault, and then I believe it was Lazar and maybe who's the other centre half?
Sells.
I don't. Basically, I don't think it was Sells' fault.
No, I think the abuse that he's had over the season is shocking. But I think the key was that sending off for me, because we were better or matched them at the worst scenario, and then went in extra time. We got half an hour with an extra body, and we didn't take advantage of it. That's where we should have killed the game off for me. The penalties is just a lottery. Where you could have the world's best players miss penalties. It happens. Yeah. We had shocking ones. If we'd done another one, probably be awesome. But that period of half an hour was crucial for me, and I have to say that's the biggest disappointment I've had all season. Yeah, because that was the chance.
The second thing I want to ask you then is, Darlow played in the game before against Blackburn. Why didn't he play in that game? And for a player that I'm sure we'll get into in a bit, but a player that saves penalties, saved 3 in the last 6 months, why is he not playing in a game like that?
I was as deflated as everyone, and to be honest, hindsight's a wonderful thing, where we can all just sit here and say, we would have played, Darlow every single game, or we would have, not put Sells in, or we would have played Sells at Blackburn and it wouldn't have made a difference. But, that was, 3 games in a week, because we played on the Friday after that. 3 days, you got to rest even the goalkeeper. And to be honest, we were that dominant in the game, it shouldn't have got to extra time. Is another thing I would say, not taking the chances. And I remember this is something else, is that when Mealy did the first podcast, we talked a lot about that whole game, and also a question that rose up was, if Newcastle were to be in the Premier League now with this squad, where would they finish? And I was sort of expecting to say maybe lower end of mid-table, and he was saying scraping safety, and he proved me right on this one, because we just didn't. Can't see, he's looking very smug. It was it was just really demoralising, because we should have won it, and it was a great opportunity. But if that's what we can do with a Championship team, what can we do with a Premier League team? When we eventually get one.
Shall we move on then? Right.
Yeah.
Who wants to do it? Shall I start the Forest one?
Yeah, go on in.
Right. The week got worse, didn't it? We'll talk about the referee, I'm sure we will. Let's just talk about the performance first of all, because we got sent down to 9 men. We scored first with Richie, probably against the run of play because we had the 9 men. Went at half time 1-0 up, and then obviously Darlow with the 2 magnificent saves. Yeah, you could see he's a fault for one of the goals, possibly even the second one, even Lascelles maybe. The performance, I can't question it, was absolutely outstanding. We had 9 men for over 50 minutes. It was absolutely brilliant. It was hard. It was like Braveheart for me. It was absolutely marvellous, the performance. Just we'll all touch on it now. The referee. Let's just start. Do you want to start? Will, referee.
I was told by a couple of my cousins who, one of them supports Sheffield Wednesday, one of them supports Leeds, so they've watched Championship football for a while, and they said one thing you need to know is the referees are a bit of a mark down from those in the Premier League. I didn't think it was to the extent where some of them didn't know the rules of the game, especially the ones that had just been introduced where you can't send someone off and give a penalty if it's the last man. The Shelvey one's debatable. Some people saying it's not, some people saying it is. In my opinion, it wasn't because there wasn't actual contact at all, and that's just mine. Feel free to disagree.
The intent.
But you could say that for a lot of things, even if he's just getting up.
Yeah.
He's just getting up, he's going to move his foot back. Then the Dummett one's never a red card. If there were penalties or not is irrelevant because they were saved. But I was very proud of the performance, and it was one of the games where we still lost, but the performance was magnificent, and they could not have given any more. Everything went against us that game, and we had every single right to demand the red cards rescinded, and I think they were rightly rescinded. But that doesn't change the fact that we lost 3 points where we really should have gone on and won that game, because we were dominant, even without Jonjo Shelvey, because he was sent off first and then we scored. Even without that, we still scored and we were still comfortable in the game. But 9 men, it was a step way too far, and it was just as soon as it got to 1-1 within minutes of the second half starting, I just don't think it was ever going to recover.
So we would have won that game if it wasn't for the referee.
I think so.
Yeah.
Cool. Hold on, before you pass the mic. This is for Henry Lansbury for his award-winning performance. Sorry,
I was wondering what you were doing there. I thought you were going to come up with "Oh, happy days."
Nah, it definitely was happy days. I mean, Henry Lansbury is the reason why we lost that game. He robbed us. He really did rob us.
Is he suspended for the St James's Park?
No, he's injured. He's injured. Yes.
Because he's frightened of our fans in case we give abuse.
Yeah.
If he wasn't injured, the fans would probably injure him.
Yeah, I think to be honest with you, from his manager's point of view, he's right to take him out of the firing line, because he wouldn't have left Newcastle alive. Let's face it.
That's just getting in.
Yeah, exactly. So, all in all, I mean, we did so well, especially. You know what? We missed the penalty saves as well. Darlow, fantastic keeper. You guys all know how I feel about Darlow, anyway.
You love him.
Yeah, Bay.
More than Isaac Hayden?
Yeah, you know what? I'm going for it. Yeah, he is. He's that good. He's. You know what? He's getting towards Given level.
Really?
Yeah. And he's only been here a short period of time. No, I know Given's a legend in goalkeeping terms, but yeah, he's getting up.
For me with Darlow, he's done fantastic, but he's not. I don't think he's there yet. I think.
He's not there, yeah, no, don't get me wrong.
To come up against the likes of Manchester United, Chelsea, and have worldies.
Yeah, but come on, man.
Oh, don't get me wrong, I think he's the best keeper.
Yeah.
I don't think he's in that level for me.
Nah, not yet, but I said he's getting up there. I mean, the penalty save against Goodbye last season, that was one thing, but the 2 penalty saves against Forest, come on now. And I said before, if we had him in the whole game...
Are you trying to convince us or convince yourself?
I don't know, I'm just putting it out there. But, Darlow for me had a fantastic game. Easily our man of the match in the first half, let alone the whole game.
Elliot's going to have a job getting back in the team.
Yeah, he is.
And Tim Krul,
he is.
for that fact.
And with the red cards as well, same with you, Will. Shelvey won. Yeah, the intent was there, but at the same time, you can't be doing those things, man. We know that Shelvey's got a bit of a temper now.
Yeah.
It's the reason why he's in this sort of bother anyway. So of course he's going to get a red card. The Dummett one is just laughable. God knows how he can give a red card. You're not even supposed to give a red card in
No.
those decisions, so why is he getting a red card? But we showed great fight in that one. I was actually proud of our performance, and so was Rafa as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I thought our performance was brilliant in that game. We were robbed by referee Stephen Martin and Henry Lansbury. I didn't even know Stephen Martin before that game, so...
Don't worry, a lot of people on Twitter didn't either.
No. I remember on Twitter...
Because the referee would have Twitter.
Yeah, of course he would.
That's like an open goal.
Yeah.
So start of the game, I thought we actually started well. Yedlin bombing down the right hand side, I thought looked a real threat. And then as the game grew in further, Henry Lansbury and Jonjo Shelvey are battling for the ball, and then I can't remember, but I think Lansbury wins the ball or something, and then he ends up down on the ground. But then for some reason, apparently Shelvey stamps out on him, which isn't true. And then he's 1 second later he's on the floor wriggling like he's just broken his leg or something. I just knew straight away the ref was going to send him off, because I could always tell when a referee's going to send a player off by their body language.
I
Yeah.
think it was the assistant who sent him off on that one.
Yeah. Combined, I'd say, probably. Then I was like, oh, red card's bad enough, and I was like, he's given a penalty. And at first I didn't think. I thought with the new rule where you can't give both, I think. So
I think if the ball was out of play, it's not a penalty, but because the ball was still in play, he has to give a penalty.
Wasn't the ball kicked out of play though first?
I don't know. I can't remember.
I think it was Bentner who took the first one, stepped up, and Darlow saved it. Brilliant penalty save. And then we just kept in for the next 4 or 5 minutes, dug in, and then next we took Richie took a free kick, and Clark gets his head on it and it goes in the net, and the assistant disallows the goal for a push, which it was not a push looking on the replay. And another one where the ref robbed us. Then a couple of minutes later, a ball Nottingham Forest give the ball away, and the ball comes in from I think it's Gouffran, and the Nottingham Forest player makes a horrible clearance. It comes straight to Richie on his right. Fantastic goal, can't argue with that. Brilliant goal, brilliant finish. And he needed a bit of confidence, because that was only his 3rd goal of the season. For Bournemouth he scored 15 goals, I believe, in the Championship. But I think the problem is with Richie, I think all the Championship teams have identified him as our big key player, which I don't think he's our best player. I don't think he's a good player, but I don't think he's our best player. But a lot of the Championship teams have looked at that and said he's their main man that we need to try and stop this season, and that's why half the reason why he's been off the boil. But and then with 1 minute of stoppage time to go, a lucky cross from the halfway line comes to Lansbury, finds it at his feet. In my opinion, I could kind of see why the ref gave the penalty, because Dummett was he had his hand like this, but you could see Dummett was desperately trying to stop him. So I did think that was a penalty, but it was definitely not a red card at all. So Lansbury steps up and Darlow saves it again, and I'm cheering. I'm like, unbelievable, how's he managed to do this? Second half starts and we bring on Vernon Anita, which I thought was a bad call. I thought we should have maybe brought on an extra defender, maybe an Mbembe. and I actually was optimistic. Half time I thought, you know what, Rafa might just get the lads in and we might just hold on, because at that time we'd only let in 3 away goals all season, so I was like, we could still get something out of this. Second half starts and about 5 minutes into it. First goal you could blame Lascelles, but Bentner was some crossing and Lascelles tried to clear it, but Bentner slid in too quickly for him, and then there was a proper little lucky scramble, and then Bentner manages to get a toe on it and goes in the net 1-1, and I'm like, well, it's 1-1, but I don't blame the lads at all. We've been played really well all game. And then we managed to hang on to 86 minutes, and we did actually have one decent chance. Actually, it was Gale and Richie linked well up front, and Hayden curled it, and it was just wide. But anyway, 86 minutes, the corner comes in, and it comes in at speed, and unfortunately for us, it hits off Lascelles' knee and goes in the net. I'm not going to blame Lascelles for that one, because he is one of my favourite players. If not, he is my favourite player. Yeah.
Can we all go home now?
I feel like I've just read the match again.
I'm seeing it, replaying it on my
I am actually going through the visions of it.
Yeah.
Wow. Right.
Oh wait, I think you missed that we should have had a
Right, Cody, shall we move on to the
Right,
next one?
so we've
Right.
got the next one, which is Ian Cathro leaving us for Pastures New. He's obviously the head coach at Hearts. And yeah, I don't have too much to say about it. You know, you don't want to stop someone, you know, progressing in life, and you know, I'm sure he's been a great servant. We don't really get to see what he does behind the scenes, but from what I hear, he's a good coach. He obviously wants to do bigger and better things, or you know, take the reins at a club, because you can only be assistant for so long. So yeah, fair play to him. I don't know what else to say about Ian Cathro, really.
Well, I knew he was like a young, like up and coming Scottish coach. Worked with Valencia, I believe it was, and also head of development like Dundee by the time he was like 3 years old or something like that. But he seemingly did very, very well. But you know, going to a Scottish club and to progress his career to become a manager, I wouldn't have wanted to hold him back, and I don't think for us, I think it's a loss, but I don't think it'll be a massive one. I think we can easily get someone else in.
Well, Chris Boyd doesn't think that. Did you see what he come up with?
What do you say?
Just basically slated him, said he's not ready for the big job, and he said
Hearts.
well, obviously Hearts means a lot to him, so
Time will tell, won't it?
Yeah.
Time will tell. I'm quite disappointed that he went. I'll put this out a few times. For me, I think Rafa's like all of our second dads that we never had. And I think he has that euphoria like Bobby did around the club.
Yeah.
And I think Cathro could have like worked under him for a good few
A
years,
lot more.
and then give him the reins. That's what I was hoping for.
I don't know about that though.
Well, you don't know. I mean,
that.
I think with me, I think it's because you let one of the assistants leave at the end of last season as well to go to Vicenza, Verona. That's one of the two.
Yeah.
Yeah, well there you go. Took the words right off me. And then he left. I think right. Then when Cathro, I thought he's British, he'll understand it, he'll get through it. And I was a little bit disappointed because I wanted to see him progress. That's the only reason why I was disappointed. But good luck to him.
Yeah.
Does anyone add that on? Shall we move on? Jim, next question then.
Yeah. Newcastle 4, Birmingham 0. Gale hat-trick and Gouffran goal. I'll start with Lee. What was your opinion on the game?
We got back to winning ways. I was more than happy about that horrible week. I think it was important. I didn't care how we won the performance. I think we're just getting them 3 points just to get off that horrible week that were hard. It was pretty awesome, I have to say. It was a dominant display. We bossed the game. It was like wow, where's this Newcastle been? Gale was in the right positions. He had the service, he had the width. I said in the preview, we need to get crosses in from the right hand side. We got goals from the width as well. Even Gouffran got on the score sheet as well. It was just a dominant performance, and welcome back Newcastle. It was really good to watch. Birmingham didn't offer anything at all. They were shocking for being a side in 5th position, and then they go and sack the manager, which is absolutely bonkers. Then bringing in Zola, which is ludicrous for sacking the manager just outside the playoffs. But all in all, it was absolutely fabulous performance.
Yeah.
Will?
We were magnificent, and it was I remember talking to some Birmingham fans after the game, and they said, you know, it wasn't by the fact that we were shocking, it was just by the fact that you were so good, we just didn't have the ball. I think we had 75% possession or something stupid like that. They just weren't in it at all, and I didn't actually realise how high Birmingham were up the table. But we had the week from hell, and to have a resounding 4-0 win over a team that were in 6th or 5th at the time, or 7th. Was a massive statement, and Dwight Gale was magnificent. Everyone in the team was brilliant in their own ways, and Birmingham, I don't remember them being in our final third much, if not at all. It was just a fantastic performance, and it was great to see them have a great win for it.
I was just going to say that we needed a win like that. We haven't had a win like that since the QPR game, where we've really dominated a team. Yeah, we've won games obviously in between, but they're like 2-1 margins or 3-1 margins. We needed a game like that where we could just show we're here, we're back, we're dominating, and from start to finish we literally just dominated them. And it's good to see obviously Gal getting back on the score sheet. We need that guy, and
I think for me what was more important, he got service.
Yeah,
because he's been lacking the last few
games. Yeah, he needs that in a big way, because we haven't. If you look at our strikers, we haven't got out and out goal scorers apart from Gal. Yes, Mitro's on fire. Yeah, all that type of stuff. Murphy played 2 minutes of
He's played one game.
I was gonna say he's played 2 minutes of football, and Perez, he's not really an out and out goal scorer either. So we need to get the service to Gal. I'm sure we'll obviously sort it out in the January transfer window, but we need to get the service to Gal. So it's good to get him back in the scoring swing of things, and yeah.
Brief description, James.
Yeah.
I do want to get home at some
Quick.
Just your general thoughts on the game.
Yeah. My thoughts on the game were we played brilliant. One of 2 standout performances for me this season. The 2 for me were Birmingham and QPR. The rest of the games this season, I have to be honest with you, have been pretty average, I'd say, but have managed to get the gritty wins.
4-3 against Norwich, okay.
That was a great 5 minutes.
I hugged him.
Did you? Gale got a hat-trick. Apart from that, he didn't really do much.
What about Modiami? He stepped up, didn't he?
Oh, he stepped up massively, because I was critical of him when he looked like Musa Sissoko too to me, with his laziness and stuff. But fair play to him, because he did come out and say his performances haven't been up to standard lately. But
he said he's been sleeping. That was his words. He said he's been sleeping. Now he's been waking up.
Sleeping giant.
Yeah.
Oh, he woke up on that game.
Yeah. And
just using his strength, because
even the first goal, his assist.
Yeah, it was brilliant crossing, and he's not even a right midfielder as well, so that was good. The thing I like about Diame is he doesn't. The thing that annoys me about him is he's got a lot of pace, but he just doesn't use it. He's got power, pace, and strength, and I've always wanted him to get on his bike and just run at the defence all the time. So yeah, overall, brilliant victory. I thought Birmingham were okay. Everybody was saying they were poor, but I didn't. I thought they were okay. It was just we had too much quality for them.
Cool.
Next one up.
Do you want to start?
Yeah, why not? So after that, get back to winning ways away from home as well, with a 2-0 win at Wigan Athletic. Modiame with the goal and Christian Atsu. Who wants to start? Lee?
I'll start, yeah. So just going back how you were saying about the Modiame thing, James. We were picking that up in the preview when I talked about Modiame, how he likes to trot like around when he hasn't got the ball. He's sort of like trot like a horse around the pitch. I don't know why I use that as a reference, but I got the Birmingham one, and this is another one where he steps up the plate against his old club. In particular, the first hour, he was outstanding, and that goal where he just shrugs off. He looked like an old-fashioned centre forward. Just get out of my way. Shrugged off. Obviously, had a great combination with Hayden and the counter-attack goal, and that was a brilliant little finish side foot. And to be honest, I don't think it was a great performance by Newcastle. I think it was pretty poor, but we rode the storm, especially second half. And then I think for me, it's the quality of the finishing what we have against other teams. I think Wigan matched it in massive large periods. We just had better finishing at the end of the game. and it was the start of a nice run that we're starting to see.
Do you think this could be like? Do you think in the season certain players have runs? Like at the start of the season, I believe it was Richie. Everyone's talking about his magic hat and all the rest of it. Then it was Shelvey. Then it was Gale, and now it's probably Diame. Do you think that's where the quality of our squad comes into play?
Yeah, I think it'll be certain parts of the period where you might see someone. Well, look at Kieran Clark. I think he'll have a dip in form, no doubt. Don't think it'll be massive. We'll have some sort of players that'll come in and stake a claim. Like Atsu's good off the bench, but we don't want him to have a super tag coming off the bench, I think there will be the players will lost. I think that's normal. Normal that players will lose form and gain form as well. So definitely. James, thoughts on the overall performance?
Yeah. First half, obviously I didn't see the first half an hour of it because I was going to watch it in the pub, but my dad was late getting back from an auction, so I only saw the last 15 minutes of the first half.
Leave your dad.
Yeah. So yeah, I can't really comment on the first half because I didn't see it. It's best not to comment on a game, part of the game if you didn't see it. Second half, when I watched it, we were
poor.
Yeah, that's the word I'm trying to get describe. Wigan dominated us, which a little bit worrying if we're going up to the Premier League next season. But as I say again, the difference is we've just got that little bit of talent and quality up front in Shelvey, Diame, Gale. You could even say Mitrovic has got a bit of talent as well. Overall, yeah, it was another gritty win. Very similar to games like against Bristol City and Rotherham, where we grinded out the win. The only difference was we scored 2 goals. So yeah, took the chances when we come, and I wouldn't say we deserved it, but we got the 3 points, which was the main thing.
I think it was I completely forgotten what I was going to say. Yeah, I've just lost it. I lost it. That's something really good lined up as well. I've lost it.
Should we go on to the next one and maybe come back?
I might come back. Can I just point out that the Will Griggs on fire and Mitro's on fire. We didn't even have the chance to see.
Yeah.
Oh, it's back! It's back with me.
Right.
Is that we're playing in a league where we are the biggest club, I think, by a stretch. Debate all you like, I think we are, and there's always that, I think, extra incentive. I remember talking at the start of the season when we had the 2 losses, that there's that extra incentive when you come up to St James's Park, or when you play at home, saying, oh, can we be the ones that beat Newcastle? So so it seems as though that I don't really think, maybe a few exceptions, but we've never really, like you're saying, we haven't really had that many wins where it's been like 4-0 or 3-0 or things like that. It's always been 2-1 or 3-1. They are difficult games, and that we never can really rest and lie down. Even the Preston game, we beat them 6-0 in the cup, and then a few days later it was only 2-1, and it would maybe have been lucky that we won the game. So it's to keep it ticking over and keep bringing up the performances. I think it shows how much we are sort of in that class above, along with Brighton. In the Championship. So the next one is Burton 1, Newcastle 2.
I know exactly what Ford is going to say. Go on, say it.
Well, why don't we start?
What, the biggest mismatch in football, that?
No, the other one. I was at the game.
I wasn't going to say anything, but saying as your us now. I was at the game, to be fair, and it did remind me.
Really?
Yeah. Check out my channel, by the way. You see all the highlights on there. Cheeky plug. But yeah, it just reminded me of Nottingham football, man. Because last season I was working with Blind Spot. It just reminded me of going to one of those games, rocking up, seeing stands, just rocky stands, just made of rubble and stuff like that.
How big is it? 6,000.
6,000. I mean, they made a lot of noise at the start of the game. It was odd as well. I thought it was that X Factor or Strictly Come Dancing. They was doing the whole all that type of stuff.
What are you doing in the media?
Yeah, that's what you do in the media. Yeah, but that was fun. But yeah, they made it a fantastic occasion. Burton fans are really loud. They made a riot.
They praised Newcastle fans as well.
They did, and rightfully so. But it was really good, and yeah, Burton really took it to us. I mean, I honestly thought we was just going to walk all over them. Stupid me. and we really had to dig deep in that one, because that was a excuse me, it was a real battle that the quality shone through in that one, with obviously Gale and Diame. But fingers crossed that we don't need to go through too many of those games, because I was just thinking to myself, all my group of friends are Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea supporters.
And are they from lower cities as well?
Yeah, yeah, of course they are.
Right.
Not. But if we had lost that game, even if we had drawn that game, I wouldn't have heard the end of it. Come on now. Even Sunderland fans would have given it to us, saying, you're playing, Barcelona a decade ago or whatnot, and now you're playing Burton, and you can't even...
We have a stadium that's 9 times bigger than theirs.
Exactly. I think even Clough come out with it and said that the whole area of Burton holds 64,000 people, and that's like that's what we hold in our stadium. So it just shows the significance in how big of a club we are compared to Burton. But fair play to Burton, they did take it to us, and I was impressed with O'Grady as well. And boy, he's on the weights, man. He was just mustering the cells all over the shop. But yeah, we've got the 3 points. That's all that counts, and we're gonna have a lot more games like that against the likes of Burton.
James?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good victory in the end, but this thing coming out as the biggest mismatch in history. First of all, in Football League. First of all, I think it's a load of rubbish, and 2, it's disrespectful to Burton. I think. Yes, you could say they are a bad team, and it'd be embarrassing if we didn't beat them. But every game, as I said earlier on, in the Championship is going to be difficult, and those people, my friends, saying to me, "Oh, we'll beat them 5-0." I was like, hang on, they're going to come out and try, and they're all going to give us a good game. They're not just going to let us come here and make us batter them 6-0. They gave us a really good try, and well done, because you put in a lot of good effort. But again, similar to the Wigan game, it's just that bit more bits of quality and an okay defence that's been improved over the summer that got us the victory again in that one, the same as many other games this season.
Cool. It was an ugly game. It was absolutely ugly. Someone pointed me out of work and looked and went, "Lee, you've got more subscribers than the Burton Albion home crowd." And I actually think they went, "I've actually, we have."
Stop kidding.
So that was quite funny. That was made my highlight. It was an awful. It was kind of like an FA Cup atmosphere. It looked like maybe banana skin, David versus Goliath, and all of that. I think it was important that we got the win, because we've been battling last week with Brighton, top change of position, first and second, and I think it was important to get the win. And obviously I know Brighton then won as well, so I think it's going to be close with us and Brighton. But touching on that, Gale again scoring, Diame, very similar to the goal against Wigan, very kind of similar, shoves his man off and places the bottom corner. So it wasn't a great performance, but we've won 2 wins in a week away from home. Marvellous.
Fantastic.
Will? Is it Will?
Yeah.
Thoughts on it?
Well, I don't have the advantage of going to the games like Fordy does. I don't have that much time in my day. I do have a life outside of this, seemingly. I'm kidding. But it was.
Come on.
But it was. It's again this thing where the very spirited performance from Burton and just that quality shone through again. Diame, he's finally remembered that he's a footballer, finally, because I didn't think he was one in the early parts of the season.
He's woken up, man.
Sleeping giant. He has woken up.
Smelled the roses, and now he's
yeah. And I remember again, I think a lot of Newcastle fans were very wanting the Mitro Gale as 2 strikers partnership, but now the Gale is number 9 and then Diame is number 10 is working, and it's starting to work really, really well now. So it's like your poster's falling off again.
Poster's falling off. Touching on that, then we'll leave the game, because funny enough, coming up next, what we're talking about is actually the form guides of Gale, Shelvey, and Diame. So we'll start with you, since Fordy's up and about.
Right.
The form of them, we know Gale has been at it all season.
Mhm.
Shelvey's been predominantly this season, and Mo Diame. What's your
Right.
thought? Are those three the most key players that we have in this side this season?
I'm not. Are they the most key? Not so sure about that one. I mean, when I was breaking it down, sort of when it was coming obvious that Shelvey's going to stay, and we were maybe sort of shaping the squad. It wasn't that much surprise to me that Shelvey would be good in the Championship, because I think he's a very good Premier League player that could play for. He could play for half the Premier League clubs, I think, quite comfortably.
Yeah.
And he is a Premier League player. Gale, I was quite sceptical towards. I remember in my first couple of videos for Lee, I was talking about how we probably should have. How I was more excited about Ross McCormack rather than signing Dwight Gale, but Dwight Gale has proved me completely
And
wrong
I bet
on
Ross
that one.
McCormack's proved you completely wrong
Yeah,
as well.
yeah,
He got
he's
2
just
goals.
he doesn't get in the. Is he even in the estimate team at the minute?
No.
He's been absolutely brilliant for us, and he looks like, when it goes from seeing Papi Cisse, who I've never seen a player miss from 2 yards more often than Papi Cisse, to go from that to Dwight Gale, it's virtually incomparable. And Gale is one of the, I haven't watched Newcastle for that long, I'll happily admit, but in terms of an actual finisher, I would put Gale up there with like Remy in players that I've seen.
So
And
those
just how
three
good he's
guys
been.
are those three guys the most important three in your eyes this season? If we took those 3 people out the side right now, what happens to Newcastle?
We're not as good. But I think you can't knock some of the other performances, such as Darlow, such as Lascelles, such as Richie as well at times, and Gouffran. We took Gouffran and Dummett out the team, and we lost to Blackburn at home. There's a lot of. You can't just put it
other
to
players. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's all down to them.
Yeah, but you can't just. I don't think you can really pinpoint to those 3. I think Diame, virtually was non-existent in some games at the start.
I think the spine of our team's most important. Starting from Gale. Start from the top. Start from Gale. Then you got Shelvey. Then you go to Lascelles. Then you got a consistent goalkeeper in Darlow. I think that's the consistency that you need in your team. I think Rafa knows his best 6 out of 11.
Yeah.
And then after
like the
that,
consistent 6. Yeah.
like the consistent 6 for me would be Dummett, Lascelles, Clark, and then obviously Yedlin and Anita is up for debate which one of those 2 start, and then Richie, Shelvey and Gale. I don't know about your thoughts, but those are the 6 that, in my mind, he goes for those 6 first, and then works around everything else depending on what the game is. I think.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Yeah.
I would say
maybe
the right back and left wing, then the rest he picks predominantly.
Yeah.
Maybe Colback and Hayden.
Yeah, exactly.
Right back and left wing, you always alternate to those.
Yeah.
Most out of all of them.
Yeah.
But
those are the ones he's not really sold on 100% yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
James, what do you think? Who's the 3 key? Or would you agree with Gale, Shelvey, Diame, or have you got anybody else?
No. Diame has been good in the last couple of games, but you have to keep it up for most of the season, like Shelvey and Gale. Otherwise, you don't get voted the best player so far this season off me. Gale, Shelvey, and who else? I don't know. It's either between Lascelles and Clark. I'd go Lascelles because I know he hasn't really been mentioned this season by Newcastle fans, but he's been the best defender in the Championship in my opinion, after Clark and then some Leeds player, I don't know who, but he's been conceded. Well, at first we conceded 3 goals away from home, which was the best in all 4 divisions in England, so that was really good. And also whenever I've seen him play this season, he's always winning headers all the time. That's his strong point, winning headers as well. And him and Clark have just performed an absolutely brilliant partnership together, so I'd say Shelvey's been our best player this season, then Gale, and then Lascelles.
I'm just going to jump in as well, just to throw a question in there. One word answers off everybody, but not the reason why. Who was your player of the season at the halfway point? So I'll start with you, James.
Shelvey for me.
Gale.
Gale.
I would say Shelvey for me. It's interesting, we're kind of
Splits.
split, aren't we? Let me know, of course, in your comments.
Actually,
box.
just one other thing. I think this is something that we talked about. Who's your player of 2016? Like, it's 2016, so from January to here.
I'll answer that, Lascelles.
I would agree with that.
From he's grown from a boy into a man.
Seeing Mike Williamson to Lascelles is like seeing Cisse to Gale.
So Lascelles.
I'd have to say Lascelles as well. Yeah.
Lascelles, even I'd definitely say Lascelles, even though at first a lot of Newcastle fans questioned him at first. I always rated him though. I actually always rated him. I thought he'd come good for us at the time. I just knew it when Rafa saying, yeah, I remember the derby against Sunderland. Yeah,
If you can't see me, I'm shaking my finger at these two, Lee and Will, because I was a big Lascelles fan. Check my videos if you don't believe me. I believe in him.
I just thought he was a bit young to be like have that responsibility, but he took to it.
Born leader.
Yeah.
But he took to it like fish to water.
Yeah.
He does have a mistake in him, but I have always rated him.
Yeah.
So, halfway through the season, highlights so far. Who wants to start off with that?
Yeah, we'll try, because everybody's got loads, we'll try and be quick on the highlights of it.
Yeah.
I think the highlights for me is probably being surprised at Dwight Gale. I did not expect him to be where he is, so that is the main highlight for me. Having 16, 17 goals, I thought he would get 10 tops. Dwight Gale for me, is the highlight.
I think for me, just to see how this club is restructured for me. I know that's quite a broad one, but to go from the regime we had before, to have McLaren as a board member / manager / puppet or whatever he was, to go to have a manager of the calibre of Rafa Benitez. I asked this to quite a few Newcastle fans. I would take having Benitez in the Championship over Pardew in the Premier League any day of the week. Every single day of the week. There's new hope in the club, and if we do.
Well, you're making me turn my opinion now. I'll agree that's the other question for you, Will.
Yeah.
Would you rather be in the Premier League with Steve McLaren or in the Championship with Rafa Benitez?
You did hear what I just said, didn't you? It's like, oh no, I won't take Premier League with Pardew, but I'll take it with Steve McLaren. Championship with Rafa all day long. Anyone else?
Yeah.
For me, the highlight would probably be the emergence of all of our fringe players.
Okay.
Kieran Clark in particular. I don't know what Rafa's put in his Weetabix, but I thought no, seriously, man. I thought fourth choice defender. He'll be called Splinter by the end of the season. He'll be sitting on the bench for that long, but he's our best defender. Like alongside Lascelles, rock solid. And I don't think we've had a really good defender since Jonathan Woodgate.
Yeah, I remember them days. These two won't remember.
Yeah, you guys won't remember those days.
Really? Mike Williamson though?
Nah. But the emergence of him, emergence of Gouffran as well, another player that we thought we would have got rid of him.
Is that down to Rafa on the training ground?
I think so. He's made everyone step up a level.
See what he was like.
Everyone.
Is that your highlight then? Saying like
the emergence of our fringe players.
Average players.
Yeah. He's got an extra 10% out of all those fringe players. Yeah. That's my highlight.
My main highlights, first one, QPR 6-0, absolutely brilliant performance. Dominate.
I wasn't as it goes, no.
He wasn't?
No, I've been to that going.
See, he's not loyal.
Yeah, so the
It was a school night, man.
6-0 the game I'll always remember for Jonjo Shelvey being a world beater in that game. Yeah. QPR, yeah. Jonjo Shelvey being a world beater in QPR.
Well, since you're on the mic, you may as well start with the biggest disappointment so far this season as well.
But
the biggest disappointment so far halfway through the season.
Tricky one.
We'll come back to you.
Yeah, come back.
Biggest disappointment is probably Rolando Aarons getting injured. I had high hopes for that, lads, and obviously him getting injured so early on, disappointing because I don't think he'll get a kick now. So obviously through injury, but I don't think he'll get into the team. And probably the other one is Mitrovic as well. I thought he would have had more involvement in the side, but obviously Gale's just keeping him out with 17 goals, so can't really argue with that one.
Biggest disappointment, I could probably pinpoint to losses. I would say going out the cup. Blackburn stands out for me in terms of maybe like specifics, players. Just don't know. Has there been that many disappointments? I think Mitro maybe not getting as much as I thought, because I just think. Also, Jose Perez, I think as well, because he hasn't been. Again, I thought he's generally done well in the Premier League, and to not keep that going into the Championship, I think's been.
Mine's not so much the players; it's going out the cup knocked me back.
Yeah.
I think every Newcastle fan was very, very optimistic that we'll turn Hull over.
Yeah.
Going with high spirits. Rafa brought this, wow, we've got a cup run, like a buzz, and it was like it just went from high, boof, right down to low. And I generally thought we could have got to a semi-final. Yes, looking in hindsight now, we're up against one of the big boys in the Premier League if we got through, but you didn't know that at the time. 2 legs, Rafa would have tried something, played cautious. It would have been so good to see us against the likes of whoever we had drawn. Yeah, it's easy to say that now, like Liverpool, Man United, and whoever.
You would have taken a loss against a Liverpool and Man
United. Over 2 legs. Yeah, but you would love to see that. The atmosphere at St James's Park on a nighttime game against any of those big sides will be electric, and that's what we miss. Yeah, being in the Premier League, it would have been that little bit of taste. Yeah, this is what's coming.
This is what's coming. Yeah,
that's mine.
Yeah. Also, maybe an unorthodox one. Just thought of maybe. I was disappointed. I was actually gutted when Townsend left, because he said he was going to stay. And
no.
Really? You're not disappointed? Anyone disappointed Musa Sissoko left?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Someone asked me about just today on would you have Andros Townsend back? And I said no. Again, he's a snake.
Traitor.
That's strong words, but that's my opinion on Townsend. I wouldn't.
Anyways, better anyway.
James, you thought your disappointment?
Yes. 2 for me. The cup disappointment, and also I was disappointed with the Blackburn game, but when we got beat 2-0 at home to Wolves, that just really disappointed me, and it was summed up as well by Anita getting sent off, and Shelvey, who obviously that incident, and I'd actually also as well, one of my biggest disappointments would be actually today, Shelvey getting 5-game ban, because he's been our best player this season.
You may as well carry on the next one.
FA Cup. Do we want a cup run? You
want to answer that?
Yeah. For me, when the EFL Cup first came out at home at Charlton, I was like, play all the young kids, and if we lose, doesn't matter. We don't need the cup. We don't need the EFL Cup or the Capital One Cup. The one objective is to get out of this league this season. The FA Cup, on the other hand, is a way bigger competition than the EFL Cup, and I would quite like a cup run in the FA Cup. I just didn't really want one in the EFL Cup. I thought that would interrupt the start of the season. But yeah, I'd love it if we could maybe get to go get the Wembley at least for a semi-final. I know it's doubtful, but who knows? Yeah.
I would love a cup run. I was devastated that we went out to Hull, because I thought we could have easily got through at least to the semi-final, if not to the final. FA Cup, we've got Birmingham.
Tricky.
No, really though. Come on.
Birmingham away.
We smashed them. Obviously they're going to be. Oh, exactly. They're going to be under Zola now, so they might change things around. But who knows, man? I think it's a winnable game, and obviously with Rafa, anything's possible. You know, don't you believe that? You've got this sense of belief now that with Rafa, anything can happen. Whether it be Burton, Barcelona, anything can happen with Rafa or Blackburn at home. You know, anything in between. But yeah, cup run for me, at least through to the quarters, I'd say. I'll put it there.
I think you'd be difficult to find someone who said they didn't want a cup run. But
you'd be surprised.
Really,
there's quite a few people who asked that question on the channel, and they didn't.
Well, I think there's the argument that we don't. If it meant that it deteriorated from our championship season, then there's the argument to say, we need to establish promotion to that.
But I'd take a loss. I'd take one championship loss for
a bit of a
progression.
But it's for the the FA Cup, it's a magnificent competition, and I think any Premier League team at home, I think we could give them a really good go. I think we could give it a really, really, really good go. I would say any Premier League team, but I remembered we kind of lost to Hull, so any team at home, let's go with that one. And I think the enthusiasm around the city, the vibe around the city, the crowd. I think anything's possible.
Yeah, I think when they first asked the question, a lot of fans are just touching on that. Like, I don't want a cup run interfere with the league, and it's proved that it hasn't. That I feel it hasn't at the EFL Cup. I would love another cup run. It takes your mind off the league as well, and also if you get knocked out in the FA Cup, you've got to wait 2 weeks for a game nowadays, because now it's like Saturday. If you get knocked out, you've got 2 weeks gap, unless they reschedule of the fixture somewhere. But just touching back, I just want to quickly touch back on the disappointment. I'm quite disappointed not that a lot of the under-23s didn't get back in at the side either. I would have been happy to see all I want to say, kids break at the first team. I like Sean Longstaff's been awesome. Someone just...
You like the YouTube winger, don't you? What's his name? Ben Elhan.
Yeah, Yassin El Bamani, yeah. Just someone that's sit on the bench. I like that. I like to see youth come through. I know it's not important this season, but I would love to see that in the future. Anyways, I'm going off the subject, but yeah, I would love an FA Cup run. I may as well start with the African Cup of Nations, which African Cup of Nations is approaching. We have potentially 4 players.
5, really?
It was Shelvey.
Well, Tio hasn't played for Ivory Coast for like over a year now, so he'll not be going.
Doesn't play for us.
He'll not be in the club. We'll touch on transfers next. African Cup of Nations, you're going to be missing Lazar. You're going to be missing Diame, which is key as well. There's literally a total of 4, isn't it, that you can miss out. And Bemba, which I know he's not getting a kick at the minute, and Atsu as well, who's predominantly a bit of an impact player. African Cup of Nations we'll probably have missing for a month. Shelvey as well. Aarons out injured. We've got a bit of. We'll talk about transfers in a moment. We'll just talk about the team. Is that a worry that we've got all these players leaving now?
Yes and no, because when you name the players, if you talk about the starting 11, you would probably the predominant ones are Diame and Atsu.
Are they replaceable now? Without going into transfers, can we replace them?
What's with the current squad we have?
Because when the African Cup of Nations comes around, it's going to be early. I don't think we'll sign a player in the first week, because you're going to have to rush it.
Yeah. So
that would mean that either change the formation, possibly play 2 up top.
I think 2 up top is definitely an option.
Is that the answer with the
I think
African
so.
Cup of Nations?
Well, even then, Benitez has put Perez in the number 10 behind Gale. I think it's just you take those players away. It doesn't really have that much impact on the first team, but it's just the lack in depth. Yeah, I think we'll leave it there for me.
I think we're due to sign an attacking midfielder, regardless if Diame stays or not, or goes to the African Cup of Nations. Because I think he wants another player. We had De Jong went out on loan. De Jong went out on loan, which was a number 10. Obviously we sold Sissoko, so we're only left with Perez and Diame really. So I think he wants to sign another number 10 anyway, so that's not too bad. The Atsu one, again, it's probably the worst time for him to be going away, because he's hitting that nice little run of form, started the last game. He's really pushing Gouffran now, and Richie obviously, because he can go both wings, play on both wings. So yeah, probably the worst time, but I think we'll obviously touch upon that in the next subject, but you will sign a lot more players to replace him, whether it be on loan or permanently.
Now it's a bit disappointing that all of these players are going out on African Cup of Nations, but today I've worked out a team that I would play whilst all these players are away, so I'll tell you them now. It's formation, it might be a bit of a weird one, but I play 4-1-3-2 for home games. So Galen, I'll come on it with the team. So Darlow in goal, Yedlin right back.
Killing me.
Darlow in goal, Yedlin right back, Lascelles, Clark, Dummett left back. You could predict that one. And I've one sit-in, Hayden, and then 3. I'd have Gouffran on the left, Perez in the number 10, Richie on the right, and then that would feed the space for Gale and Mitrovic up front.
Rafa, I hope you're listening to this.
Yeah, if you're watching this video, Rafa, I know what I'm talking about.
Rafa watches social media stuff. He's admitted that he does his homework and he sits there in the office with his team. Check what the fans are saying.
Yeah. You've got the team prediction right, haven't you?
A lot of times, yeah.
So if Rafa's watching this video, play 4-1-3-2 when all the players go away. Yeah.
Give an invite to the ground.
Right.
So that's pretty much African Cup Nations. This one's going to be tough.
So are we playing real life Football Manager on this one now? Are we?
We've
got.
Is this a FIFA one or is this a?
We'll start. If you want to start forward, who is going out the club?
So we've got a budget of 30 million. I'm just guessing.
Is that from the promise?
Who's going out the club?
Out. Well, Tiota's got to go out, hasn't he?
Toyota.
What's the point keeping him around? He's on what, 45, 50k a week for doing nothing.
Would you take a free transfer?
No.
Nah. I think the transfers now have to be for now and for next season. You got you got to think with your Ashley head on and your Benitez head on. Benitez is saying, I need to get out of this league. Ashley's going to say, I need value for money. What's the point in signing for a player for 6 months like a Murphy, who's then we're going to have to get rid of 6 months down the line? We might as well go all out, or not all out, but pay that little bit extra to sign someone for next season.
Who's going out of the club?
Tiote.
Names.
Tiote then. I'd say one of the keepers has to go out on loan.
Sells? Would you say on loan?
Sells has to, because what's the point keeping Elliott, Sells, Darlow? You can't keep them all happy. Then the young guy Woodman, there's no point keeping him there as well. I'd say Murphy as well. No.
Yeah.
What's the point? He's coming into the twilight years of his career. He might as well play somewhere.
I think Mbemba could be at risk.
I think so. I think surely he's got to be saying, you know what?
Because we'll cash in, we'll get money off him.
Yeah. But then won't we need him for next season? You know what I'm saying?
Just run the question.
I'm just thinking either Mbemba or Hanley. Because Hanley's not really had a kick and he was playing it every week, albeit for Blackburn, but at least he was getting first team football. Now he's picking up a wage, fair enough, but he's not playing, so.
What about Mitrovic? Everywhere, we're seeing it everywhere.
I think
15 million tag.
No. Yeah, but at the same time,
would you sell him for that money?
I would personally, yeah. I think we could get someone else in, but at the same time, with the shirt sales alone, probably brings that in. Because what was it? 2 days ago, it was released that he's the most popular shirt, which is baffling to me because I thought Gale would have been. But anyway, I would get rid of him because you know what? As much as I love his attitude and the fist bumping and all the rest of it, dancing, metros and fire, all the rest of it, you need someone who's going to contribute on a weekly basis, and we're leaving it all up to Gale, which is fine, but at the point in time we need someone else who can chip in with a few goals, and that's the reason why he's not started alongside Gale. That's the reason why he's not really started on his own that many times. So yeah, we need to bring in at least two, I'll say one, maybe two strikers and an attacking midfielder.
Go with names, and since you're on there, players in.
Okay, so realistically,
who would you bring in?
Realistically, I would say Crouch. I've been saying this for ages now. We need a target man, and he's someone that we can get in on a risky, but he's a realistic target that we can get in at our level. If not, then I would like to see us going back in for Berahino. I think contract's running down. He's not really played that much football. I reckon he did want to come to us last January, if I'm honest, but obviously that didn't materialise. And then also attacking midfield wise, I like to see us going in for Forestieri from Sheffield.
Good point, good shout.
So those would be my transfer targets.
Players out.
I think Tiote will go. However, the thing you have to consider is, he's got his contracts up at the end of the season, so our club's really going to spend a couple of million when they could get him for free as a free agent with a signing on fee. Then you've got to maybe one of the left backs as well. I think we've got three.
I was going to say
Haidara hasn't. I haven't seen him. I don't know where he is, to be honest. He's still injured.
Almost there, but
yeah.
I can see him leaving.
I can see him leaving. No other players spring to mind. I think. You could. I think there maybe could be an argument for Villanita, but he plays at right back because I think in that midfield maybe
he's
not so much.
Down.
And Gouffran is he's been brilliant, but his contract is running down, so you'll have to watch that one out. Murphy, he hasn't played. And you mentioned Crouch, but I don't know if you would sell Murphy then getting Crouch. I think that's like for like. I think in that case,
I think quality with Crouch excels past Murphy 10 times over for me.
That's fair enough. But then in terms of players coming in, I think a number 10, I think another winger, because Richie, even with Atsu, we've only got
Can you give us names?
I know.
Top of your head?
Well, someone who I know plays a winger and as an attacking midfielder is Alan Judge from Brentford, and we were linked to him in the summer, and it was said even then that it was talks about then for that to happen in January because of his terrible injury. There's lots of. I'm very sure there's lots of Premier League loan players that'll be available, but I agree with Fordy in the sense that we have to think about actually getting these players on permanent contracts. Another one I'd also say is try and sign Atsu on a permanent contract, because I think he's.
You're a fan of him?
I do quite like him just for his pace.
But
you haven't really
what fee would you put on him though? Because Chelsea are known for getting a lot of money for.
I would say 5 million, 6 million,
I've
7.
I've heard more. Breaking 10.
I wouldn't pay that. I would pay tops 8.
Yeah. Well, he's only got. Well, even in. Well, he's only got a year. He's only got 18 months left on his contract as well. I think Berahino is a very good shout, but considering all the players we've got, does he come in? Forestieri, second striker, I think that'd be a good one as well. Also, as a central midfielder, we don't have Shelvey for the next 5 games supposedly. We don't have another player like him, so I think that's a difficult one. I can't really think of any names, but someone who can be kind of like him, but will maybe sit on the bench
creative. Or someone creative.
Yeah, we've also got some loan players coming back, but as far as we know, they're going back out on loan.
Probably. James, players out.
Players out for me. Main ones are Czech Tiote and Daryl Murphy. Czech Tiote has only played once for 10 minutes against Aston Villa, and if I'd given him a rating, I would have given him a 0 out of 10. Daryl Murphy has only played 90 minutes and like 10 minutes in another game, and
checking the post up.
I'm just checking to make sure I've missed anyone.
He's back all
behind us if anyone's listening on audio. They're checking the squad there.
Also for me, I don't think you've mentioned it so far, but I think Grant Hanley's a complete waste. I think we need to get him out. I don't think we need to buy another centre back. I think that's next summer transfer window when we'll need a brand new one for the Premier League.
Yeah, you got Dummett.
Yeah, I think Dummett could fill in.
But then you've only got.
Hayden can fill in though.
Yeah,
again.
And
the other one for me is Jesus Gomez.
Really?
Yeah. He played. Yeah, I know. He played against Blackburn, and
he's been a disappointment this season.
Yeah, he has. I thought he was before he came off, I would have given a 1 out of 10. Yeah.
You don't hold back, do you?
If you were for a newspaper.
Yeah, I know. I'm a bit harsh, but.
Well, you can type through your opinion.
Yeah.
Of course.
Who's coming in? There's a couple of players, not many. I only think we need like 4 something. First one, a new left midfielder, Jefferson Montero, Swansea City.
Oh, that's actually such a good idea.
Stole it from us. That's exactly who I was going to say. But actually, such a good idea.
He doesn't play for Swansea, does he?
And then there was another one. For me, Michael Carrick. I know he wouldn't come, but I'd love to see Michael Carrick, even though he's 34 years old.
Do you think we might get him at the end of the season though? Because we might be in the Premier League, and he's obviously bought a house up here.
Has he? Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, he could come in. Another one for me. He's only just I'm very down to get it, but I'd really like to see. I would have liked to see Jonathan Kodja come in to the club, but.
It's a lot of money, man. He's just joined them.
Yeah, I know. So I'd like to see him, but yeah. So the main ones for me would be Jefferson Montero and Michael Carrick, and I would even like Ruben Loftus-Cheek as well.
Him. We were linked him today.
I was thinking about that earlier.
Have you not watched my video?
Yeah, I watched.
Wait, but hold on. Wait, are we allowed to have 2 players on loan from Chelsea?
Yeah, we're allowed 2 maximum.
2 maximum. Okay.
Right.
Go ahead.
I
like Chalobah though. He's good.
Montero, Carrick, Loftus-Cheek for me.
Yeah, I was about to say Montero. I feel though Newcastle needs someone with a right foot on the right wing though. The balance there. I would say Montero.
I'll stick your friend out there.
Yeah, would he be the same player? Is he going to be here? That's the question.
It worked on FIFA. That's all I'm saying.
Montero were buying Premier League as well, and I
very
think they're in dire straits. Swansea are going down with their American coach, and so
Mine isn't getting in the team at the minute. Some Barrow kids getting in.
Barrow. Yeah. Well, Montero will literally frighten defender. He'll take you on, and he's not fancy. He takes you on and whips it in. That's all he does. His job.
Similar to that.
I would like to say that. Also, I would have to say someone who's in this division. I would like to say we're not going to get him, but someone kind of like the Will Hughes.
Yeah,
he's got a big reputation in this division. He's still relatively young.
Do you still want Tom Ince?
Because of good transform that. I would have said that earlier on in the season. Remember when we won 40s fan camp?
Yeah.
I'm going to put this one out there. Guilty Sigurdsson.
That'd be difficult. I think there's a lot of Premier League clubs that would take him.
But we've got all that money in the bank. Swansea going down, and he knows we're coming up.
I was thinking of that, but...
And he's a goal scorer.
Every time I've seen Sigurdsson against us, he's been magnificent.
If Swansea did that, they would just be saying, you know what, we're going down now.
But if we were to come in and say, right,
that's literally a white flag.
How much would it take?
15 million.
15 million would Swansea take that?
Yes.
For a 28, 29-year-old.
They might not want to sell us to them after what happened when they sold Shelvey to us.
I'd love a Sigurdsson. Someone who's going to guarantee goals. And he's played with Reading. Played with Reading in the Championship, and he knows that we're coming straight back up. So he drops down for 6 months. It's a dream, but I think it's realistic. I really do think we've got the money in the bag.
And there's also there are loads of I think Manchester United. I think one player I really like the look of is Timothy Fosu-Mensah. And he hasn't played a lot. He hasn't played a lot, and he's very versatile. He's very strong, and I think he'd be available on a loan deal as well. Have you thought of someone?
Is that going to?
Of course.
It's a left back, but I've just Cameron Borthwick Jackson because he just reminded me of Man United, and I remember when Wolves came to us, he was like man of the match for me against them.
We need another left back one.
Play centre back though. If we let go of Anley as he wants to do.
We let Dealer over here.
I will get rid of Hydora. There's no way he's coming back into the squad.
It's a shame, you think it's better going forward?
Yeah.
I think that pretty much almost wraps up. I think James's mum is delighted in the corner there. Nodding her head. We're just going to do a wrap up of where we can obviously find it. So you'll find this on SoundCloud. Obviously, if you listen to SoundCloud, of course you're here. Download it, it's free. If you go to the gym or you go to the pub or what else, where people going to work, travelling on the train, download it. It's also going to be put on the iTunes. That'll be in the next few days. That's normally a delay. It'll also be on YouTube. It's also going to be on this man's 40s YouTube as well. I'll obviously put his description in this video as well, so check his channel. He does loads of Newcastle videos as well. Let's do the outros. Thank you very much for obviously listening. Will, over to you.
Thank you very much. Been a massive privilege. Can't wait to do it again.
Same here. Can't wait to do it again. Can't wait to the next one.
Yeah, massive privilege on my first podcast, and I can't wait to come back and do it again soon.
Right, see you later.
That's it.
That's it. Done.
Done.
Oh, stop it. An hour and a half. Exactly what I want.